Who was Lesley-Ann Brandt's muse for her nostalgic musical performances? Why did the Noir episode end up being so indispensable to the larger plotline? And, going forward, could Lilith's ring mean immortality for someone else? Hi, I'm Dylan. Let's go! Why did it make fans fall in love with New York 1940s? Once upon a time, the devil was solving his first case. It's New York, 1946. And we're voyeurs to a smoky alternate universe, shot in all black and white. And man, you can color us impressed. It Always Ends Bad for the Chicken is clearly an ode to 1940s cinema. The whole episode is shot like a film, and you can tell the creators have gone to great lengths to make it feel like a classic crime mystery. From dramatically lighting scenes to using cameras on cranes and sweeping dolly shots that isn't characteristic of the rest of the show. The cast has been teasing us with clues to this episode for ages, so our expectations were quite high already. Just listen to what Lauren German hinted at last year.
The language, the speak, the look, the cotton, wardrobe, hair, makeup, they just killed it. Everyone looks phenomenal.
We certainly agree with her. And you? One part of what makes it so impressive is the impeccable set details. It's almost as if you're transported back to the 40s when you look at the furnishings and details in the background, as well as this time-appropriate piece. Now, we can't leave out the costume and styling departments, can we? Whether it's Lilly Rose's seductive chanteuse dress, era-appropriate hairstyle, complete with victory rolls, or her makeup, it's all spot on. The same goes for the other characters, like Jack Monroe's tailored suit and bowling hat, right through to Mr. Stampanato's eye tattoo. Did you know that the Eye of Horus really is an ancient Egyptian symbol? Yep, it's not make-believe. Oh, and of course we saw the fan favorite Trisha Helfer return, albeit this time as the Sweet Shirley. And her dress is simply divine. It looks as if she stepped straight off the pages of a 40s ad for some type of household appliance or dinner recipe, doesn't she? Apart from that, it's clear that a lot of research went into the vocabulary, like Jack saying, "We'll bust his chops." This is typical 40s slang. And there are lots of other examples if you listen closely. As Amy Garcia said previously,
scope of it and the feel of it and the style of it is so one-of-a-kind film classic-like.
We agree with her. Clearly, this episode proves that the devil is in the details. Why did the episode become vital to the plotline? Quick side note before we get to answering this question, were you also surprised at the scope of the Noir episode? I mean, who could have guessed that all our beloved characters would be playing their polar opposites?
Outrageous.
Can we also just say how much we love how cleverly this episode segues into Trixie and Lucifer's Monopoly night turned story night after Chloe didn't join? When the cute Trixie demanded a gender-neutral narrative, we were screaming, "Amen!" I mean, who could deny her anything? Not even the devil himself can resist her charms. And now for the answer to our question. This whole episode could easily have felt like a minor detour that didn't add much to the plot, so we were endlessly relieved when it didn't. Thank God for that! I mean, the episode revealed the weighty secret that Lucifer had been keeping from Maze after Lilith demanded that her demon children may never know the truth. It's pretty clear that this secret and the whole story behind the ring holding Lilith's essence, or whatever it is she breathed into the stone, will continue to be a major plotline in the second half of Season 5. As will the character crisis of the already vulnerable Maze. Now that she's learned this secret, her feelings of betrayal have reached their peak. Another clever way the New York storyline was linked to the rest of the season? Well, don't forget that we only got to hear this whole tale because scheming twin Michael encouraged Maze to get the secret from the devil's mouth. In turn, Maze used Trixie to get the story firsthand. For a devil, poor Lucy sure is an unsuspecting chap, and a bit too easily manipulated. The moral of our story is, the episode definitely doesn't feel like a detour, but instead is incredibly powerful in informing the main plotlines. Why we loved how they all did a 360 on us. Right, as you noticed, Lieutenant Lucifer, is the only character playing himself as the devil, but our beloved characters sure did a trick on us by playing their polar opposites. In addition to Lucifer's impeccable delivery, the rest of the characters' portrayals are simply divine. For starters, Chloe's Humphrey Bogart drawl. Well, not much explanation needed here, right? And can we quickly talk about Tony Stampanato's posturing? And simply the name? Yep, Amy Garcia's Ella does a hysterical Brando imitation as a dangerous gangster, Mr. Stampanato. Gosh, excellent, but also hilarious. Were you able to keep a straight face seeing a godfather like Ella instructing Lucifer to stop snooping around? We sure couldn't, and it's not the actress's fault, that's for sure. The whole situation was so absurd and unexpected that it was quite humorous, which was intentional on the show writer's part. Joe Henderson told Entertainment Weekly, "The fun of it is who Lucifer chooses to be who, and what that says about how he sees them." Well, knowing this now, it's clear that Lucifer still thinks little of poor Dan. If we had to choose the characters who had us laugh the most, then Detective Dan as William Kincannon, aka Willie the Sausage Prince, surely has to make the top of the list. He's obsessed with war, but has never been in one. You know, on account of his asthma. Comedic gold. On that note, we'd like to commend Kevin Alejandro for embracing that both his characters are always the butt of jokes. And second on our laughter list is Melvin the Magnificent, played by Amanadiel. Imagine the field day the writers must have had with this one. Linda as the all-knowing bartender Gertie fits right into this era, but also served up a few laughs. You know, just on account of comparing her with Linda. Add to that the absurdity of all these obviously male characters being portrayed by females, and you've got a recipe for success. We'd be in for a Lucifer old-school crime series with this bunch. And you? Clever character parallels uncovered. If you paid attention, you might have noticed that the symbolism is off the charts. For one, if you thought the black and white theme was simply for cinematic effect, think again. The contrast between black and white extends to the opposing ends of good versus evil. Think of Michael versus Lucifer and light versus dark. Think of the light and happy Ella's fear of the darkness within herself. On another note, there's the scene in the car where Lucifer pries into Jack's love life. You know, after Jack learned that his wife Shirley was a call girl when they met, he's devastated that their meeting was facilitated by someone else all along, and feels he can't move forward with the marriage. Then Lucifer asks Jack if he, or she in this case, has considered, you know, forgetting about it. See how this scene is purposefully linked to Lucifer and Chloe? Yeah, just like Jack, Chloe learned that she was a gift from God to Lucifer all along. She now believes their relationship and her fate has been predetermined by outside forces. And this is a tough pill for her to swallow. Skipping forward a little bit, towards the end of the episode, we see Lily telling Lucifer that these people had something precious, which is knowing that it ends. It's here that she decides she's had enough of immortality, and she hands Lucifer the ring after blowing on it. Now, we're sure the wisps of air we saw weren't just fog. Is that supposed to be her essence or immortality? Then we skip back to present-day reality in Lucifer's apartment in LA. When Trixie looks at Lucifer's ring and asks if it has Lilith's immortality inside of it, he answers yes, but that it mostly reminds him of an old friend. And before Trixie leaves, she leaves Lucifer with some food for thought as it relates to his current situation with Chloe. Yep, Trixie reckons Jack and Shirley took the bus journey and fixed everything. How sweet! Although he scoffed at it, this comment left Lucy in deep thought. The ring that could grant immortality. On a much lighter note, this episode manages to score even more bonus points for finding a way to get Lesley-Ann to sing again. Getting to enjoy not just one, but 2 more songs from her was an absolute treat. And my playlist might be on replay in the background. In a previous Instagram post, the actress wrote, "Eartha Kitt has always been a reference for me when playing Maze. I adore Eartha. How groundbreaking she was, how outspoken she was." In episode 4 of season 5, you'll see why she is such a huge part of Mazikeen in this episode. And she was telling the truth, because Brandt renders an incredible Eartha Kitt impression. But now, for a serious question. Could Lilith's ring allow Maze to get a soul? And as Amanadiel pointed out to her, is a soul really what she needs to feel complete and have a partner? We're not too sure. Actually, we think a more plausible theory could be if Lilith's ring gives Chloe immortality, so she can spend an eternity with Lucifer. Too far out? Let us know your thoughts. But we certainly think Maze will try and get her hands on Lucifer's black stone ring. Did you notice how Maze was glaring at said ring on Lucifer's finger in episode 8? Maze took a central role in the Noir episode, and if you think about it, the secret revealed by this backstory is directly related to Maze's abandonment issues in terms of her non-relationship with her mother. We would also feel abandoned if we only had 2 rocks growing up, one sharp and one not. As show writer Ildi Modrovic explains about episode 4, like Joe said, we always wanted to get to Maze's mom, because it informs her trust issues obviously, so much, but this was the most fun way to do it by far. Speaking to ET, Lesley-Ann discussed Maze's journey and explained that it will be difficult for her to repair her relationship with Lucifer. It's like, where do I stand now, knowing that for years you lied to me? I think that relationship is definitely rocked. When asked about the second part of season 5, Brandt revealed something scarier than Lucifer's face. She told ET that, towards the end of the season, Maze will experience hurt and loss so intensely that she'll react in her most demonic way ever. According to Lesley-Ann, she'll go for the people she loves. In fact, the actress said she couldn't stop crying between takes. It was really difficult for me, both as the actor and personally because I'm a mother. And then it leads into just one of the bloodiest, violent things I've done on the show. This does not bode well for someone in her inner circle. Please, Lord, let it not be Charlie. And fans around the world binge-watched Season 5 in one sitting and are now left spending their time waiting for what feels like an eternity. The end. Thanks for watching. What were your favorite parts of Episode 4? Let us know, and don't forget to stay awesome.